current players in, and today we're joined by Jamie Clark. Welcome to the Combox, Jamie.
Hi Dave, pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
What a great match to start with as well. The legend Jimmy White and Joe Perry, of course, very much one of the game's top players. So in a way you've lucked out here, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. I think what you said there about Jimmy having his 42nd year as a professional is absolutely amazing. To have the hunger and the desire to still, play for that amount of time, and to come back year after year is very commendable.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking to him before they came out to play, and you can just see the enthusiasm is still there. So this is an interesting match, very interesting group, I think, to get us underway. John Pellew is the referee, and it's going to be the whirlwind to start. Remember, these are 4-frame matches, so 3-0, 3-1, or a 2-2 draw. They're the possible results. 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. I wonder how many times Jimmy White has broken off in a tournament. Even I don't have the stats for that, but he's got us underway again today. Yeah, Joe Perry won this event in 2008 when it was began as an invitation tournament at the Crondon Park Golf Club. No one really knew what to expect from the tournament because the format is pretty unique.
Yeah, early chance for Jimmy here. He's got the red off the black spot. If you can just flick this red that's next to it, should be nice line the black here.
What?
Sort of chances you want in the first frame in this format, just to try and get your arm going. They would have had their 5 or 10 minutes on the practice table just to try and loosen up a little bit. I know. He's had a bit of a weird cannon there. He's a bit low in this black. He might have to use the pack of reds just to try and hold the white. Let's just go around, that's a great shot. Really difficult to judge, sort of, when you're coming off that side cushion, especially on a table you don't really know, to go through the ball colours, come back. That's a great shot. It'll settle Jimmy down a little bit, that will.
Yeah, I've been saying throughout the event, I think this is a great event to have as the first one of the season because you're guaranteed 3 matches. You don't just come and play 1 match and you're on your way home again, so even if you are a bit rusty, there's time to maybe find a bit of form. It's been interesting watching the action to see who is rusty and who's clearly been working hard. We saw, for example, Nothing Sengham, who's been putting the work in, play superbly to win his group. Have you been on the practice table much of late, Jamie? Be honest.
No, I'm not telling you then. No, I had a couple of minutes off, same as everybody. After the tour, try and recharge the batteries. I think definitely 9 or 10 months on the tour can really take its toll. I think the World Championship especially, that's the biggest tournament for everyone. And I think you're sort of ready for a break then, especially if you get knocked out. And then you come back, you sort of have everyone's different, sort of 4 or 5 weeks practice. And yeah, that's right then. And I had a couple of days in Sheffield. Yeah, sort of, for the first tournament as well, as you say, it's nice to have sort of 3 matches just to bed in, really.
Well, meanwhile, Cannon on the yellows actually worked out okay. It could have gone wrong. 1980, Jimmy White turned professional. It's true that his career's been extended with some discretionary wildcards, but even so, to still have the desire to put the work in and keep playing is commendable.
Jimmy's going really nicely here.
23.
I know Joe gave him a slight chance there. I think quite a lot of people have said the table's been rolling off a little bit. The table fitters are trying their best to make sure it doesn't. But yeah, it's giving Jimmy an early chance here.
He still has so many supporters as well. People have been with him really throughout the 80s and 90s. All the highs and lows of his career.
He's on a break of 30 here. If he pots the red in the middle, he's got to get a good black. Got to get a good angle on this black to get into the reds.
31.
A little bit straight. Maybe you can land on that red just below the pack if it's available, and do the famous sort of screw off them and try and land back on the black to continue the brick. I can tell I haven't got a good commentator's eye yet. There's a red just below the pink there.
38.
Yeah, it just looked a little bit awkward because, you know, he's canning the pink. He's into a blind pocket, because when you're down in that shot and the pack of reds are there, you've sort of got to just trust your line. You can't see where the pocket is, if so to speak. So when it's the first frame, a little bit shaky, you know, it can be a bit of a weird shot, that.
One.
Joe Perry 20th in the world as the season begins. Former winner of the Players' Championship in Thailand. That's his one big ranking success, but he's been a mainstay for the last 25 years, trying, I guess, to get his top 16 place back this season. This is a world ranking event, of course, so this will count. He's been runner-up in the Masters. He ran Ronnie O'Sullivan close there. Semi-finalist in the World Championship.
8. Nine.
Can't tell if he's straight on this red. If he's got a slight angle, if he's just high on this red, he can open the pack up. Definitely land on the pink, you would have thought. Yeah, he did have the angle. It's just gone really awkward now. If he plays the pink, it's one of them, you've just got to get down and just trust your line. But it's not a shot you really want to be playing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he played safe.
Green ball. Joe Perry, 13.
No, it's a tough group, this. Obviously, these two. Jimmy Robertson is a ranking event winner. Young Sean Maddox as well, very hungry for success. The last match will be Perry-Robertson. So, obviously, Joe Perry hoping to go into that knowing where the land lies and still with a chance to win the group. Rather than, as we've seen in some of the groups, players having to rely on other results to go their way. It'll be in his hands one way or the other.
Yeah, that shot Jimmy's just played there looks a little bit worse than what it was. When the red is tight on the black cushion, like it was, and the white's tight on the bulk cushion, you've got a 12-foot sort of shot, and you've got to catch it sort of 1/10 of the red or 1/8 of the red. Anything, you know, if you catch that quarter ball, you're doing what Jimmy done there and just leave the white in this end of the table. You got a little bit lucky there not to leave anything, but it's a lot harder shot than it looks at when you're playing the length of the table.
So all the reds now in play. This frame wide open.
That's a good shot from Joe there. Tap on the table from Jimmy. No absolute direct route back for Jimmy here. If he plays that red that's just below the pink spot, he's got to catch it so thin, because as I said on the last shot, anything more than, I don't know, a sixth or a quarter of the ball, you're going to go in off. I think hence why he's looking just to put the white down at this end of the table. I don't blame him for that at all. It will be a little bit nervier for Joe and Jimmy, because Jimmy wants to get off to a good start to the season, obviously. So does Joe, but it's the first event. He knows there's a couple of matches coming today. So it will be a touch nervy out there, just the first for him. And also, obviously, very important in this format.
Yeah, and Perry won't be taking any liberties with him either. It's fair to say Jimmy White obviously is nearer the end of his career than the start, but we saw with Ken Doherty, you know, these players, these great players, they can turn it on. Ken won his group, played very well. Of course, last time we saw Jimmy White on the tour, he played Stephen Hendry in that qualifier for the World Championship. Extraordinary that they drew each other. Hendry actually got the win. It looked like White had been relegated, but
that was a nervy contest, that was, Dave, wasn't it?
Meanwhile, what a red that is. That's one from the old days.
How well has he cued that? Oh, right in the middle.
This is what I'm saying, you know, they have this class, these great players, that, okay, form comes and goes, but when they turn it on, they really turn it on.
Seen Jimmy a couple of times practicing up in the academy in Sheffield, and definitely still play. It's just when the heat comes on, maybe he suffers a little bit sometimes, but I think you know, one or two matches can sort of get you into a little bit of a roll sometimes, especially the way the tour is these days. You only need one or two good wins, and it can really boost your confidence, and can really make you, because sometimes you can believe you can't win out there, especially if you start losing a few. After that amazing long red by Jimmy, just picking these off here, 13, 20 points, could win in this frame. 67 on the table, 32 in front before the pink. It's worth a go there. Try and nudge one into play. Any harder, you could have flicked off them. You can see he's reluctant here.
Jimmy White, 13.
Looks good from Jimmy. Oh, it's just pulled up there. Good chance for Joe, though.
One.
He's got such a good presence, Joe, around the table. You know you're sort of playing a top player when you play him. Oh, it was a risky round that was.
Joe Perry, 8.
Felt like a big shot so early in the piece, particularly, of course, these are only very short matches. So White 30 in front.
A little bit surprised Davey took that on because, you know, as you say, they're so short formats. You know, Jimmy's looking, you know, decent to win the frame from here. If you can pick off 1 or 2 reds. Thought Joe might have played safe on that red, just to settle in a little bit, because 2-0 down is it's a little bit of a scramble then to try and get a draw, or if you go 1-0 down, Joe will probably take a draw then. So yeah, it's a very different format to what we're used to.
7.
Jimmy knew that.
7.
Knew that was sort of frame ball. It's a little bit edgy. The shot before the pink was actually going to be frame ball, but it's a little bit edgy just before it, because you know it's in the back of your mind that, you know, if this goes in, you know, that's the frame in the bag. But just be a little bit twitchy them ones. Another chance for Joe though, for a little to hurt Jimmy a little bit.
Yeah, the green, he actually put it there earlier. He was playing safe. Wasn't trying to put it safe. It's slightly awkward where it is.
9.
So quite a dramatic opening frame. Jimmy White's had a few chances to wrap it up. Jimmy watching so intently there in his seat.
15. 16.
Joe will want to land straight dish on this yellow to make sure he can get up to that green. If he has a big angle on it, it's not really going to be possible unless you went up and down the table. That looks just about okay.
23.
For a half ball yellow, I think he'd be playing bottom right hand side to try and just flick that white back towards that green on the side cushion, next to the side cushion. Just played that superbly well.
25.
This is the shot now for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was so well judged, wasn't it? First frame of the season for Joe Perry.
I think he'll just sense as well, you know, this will hurt Jimmy a little bit, because he only had that red in the middle and he had to stun the pink in, and in his own head he would have been 1-0 up, and when an opponent is coming back at you, you know, happens to everyone on tour, but it does hurt. And you know, Jimmy will have to throw, if, you know, providing Joe can pot these 3 balls here, if Jimmy can come back and win a couple of frames, because it's not easy when the guy is, well, doing this to you.
37.
Just saying that, it's a little bit awkward on this pink. The 2 options here, you can either come off the top left hand side cushion as we look. Oh, I just decided to roll it in. Probably the sensible option.
43.
Not risking any position at all.
So frame 1 of the day comes down to the black. Jimmy White had a few chances. He was leading the way. Perry played a great shot, yellow to green. He needs this black to lead 1-0. That's a very, very good clearance.
50.
He'll be happy with that first frame of the season. That is some way to win your first frame of the season. Joe Perry then, the top seed in this group, off and running. He leads Jimmy White 1-0. Very interesting start. A bit of a dagger through the heart for Jimmy's fans there, but it's only frame one. But I thought Perry's clearance was excellent. I mean, that last black wasn't guaranteed, but he's just got this calmness, Joe Perry, hasn't he? He's got this lovely sort of temper about things. Great yellow to green, and he's 1-0 up. And of course, it's only a 4-frame match, so even though it's frame one, Jamie, it already feels like a big blow to land.
Oh, it's all sort of frames that can really set your day up. You know, if Joe loses that and Jimmy comes in and makes, say, 100 or an 80, then he's 2-0 down and maybe not looking good at all to top the group. But as I say, that he's spotted another brilliant long red. Thank goodness. Yeah, say with Joe, he's got such a great aura around the table, and when you are sat in your seat, it's just, you know, the look in control, and that can probably give you 14 points over some players.
Jimmy White, 1.
I thought White looked good in the first frame until it came to the crunch, as you say, that frame ball red to the middle, effectively frame ball because he was on the pink, and then you had to watch Perry make the clearance.
Yeah, it is those. I said it just now, but it is those shots that really can make or break your day or your match, or sometimes even a little bit of the season where, you know, it wasn't frame ball, but it definitely was frame ball in Jimmy's head. I can tell that for free, and it was just that little one frame on the board would have really settled Jimmy down, you know.
Always get slightly concerned when I see the black go towards a pocket. It suggests it might be a lengthy frame if red start to congregate around it. There are 2 tables here. Ashley Hugill has won the first frame against Sonia Carney on table 2. That's live on Matchroom Live. Remember, on Friday we got Judd Trump coming in. He's in an interesting group, bit of a contrast in styles. He's got Anthony Hamilton, Rod Lawler and Lee Walker to contend with.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Just don't let Judd in, that'd be my advice.
A lot of table craft here between these two. Perry, 46 years of age, Jimmy White, 59. Obviously wanted to avoid that red.
I say, David, has Jimmy got away with this, yeah? Or does that red just sneaks through that blue? Yeah, so it's a good chance.
1.
Bit of a weird one from Jimmy. He looked at maybe that first frame just hurt him a little bit. Where, say, you win that first frame. I know, I've said it before, but it does settle you down. You know, my dad tried to convince me for years that first frame is important. I used to just tell him no, but it does really play a big difference. You know, you go 1-0 down, 2-0 down, then you lose a frame. You should have won 3-0, and all of a sudden it could be match over. So Joe now be feeling a heck of a lot better than he did when he was 20-30 behind to Jimmy there with a couple of reds safe.
Yeah, I think it's not just the fact it's the first frame, it's how it was resolved. The fact that White seemed to be in control of it and then Perry made a really good clearance.
There was that little hope in your heart if the guy is clearing up against you where he could miss or lose position. Jimmy's would have been yellow to green. He'd been sat there thinking, you know, he's still got
13.
a big shot to play and Joe couldn't have played it any better. And you know, as a result of that, we're looking at Joe here. He's managed to get in. I don't know, something happens when you win that first frame like that. If you have played up to win, you can just see the ball better and you can see, you know, you just feel more comfortable in your own skin.
21.
Well, he's looking to pile on the misery here, I guess. If he can win the frame at this visit, then from a position where he would have been under pressure 1-0 down, he's looking favourite certainly for this match and looking good for the group in general.
$29.
Just torn between two reds here. If he plays the red on the side cushion, near the side cushion, it's a little bit more going to come up for the black, but if he plays the red just below the bunch, you can go up for the blue. It's a little bit more of a confident shot. You can punch it in. With that red on the side cushion, it's a little bit of a dribble, and you don't really want to be rolling balls, unless your name's Mark Williams, of course. You don't really want to be rolling balls in dead weight. You want to be giving it a confident strike where, you know, you just feel better on the shot.
$37.
Touch shot, yeah. It's got the red in the middle. I think it's come off two cushions. Yeah, it's a horrible little shot, that, because
Joe Perry,
you've got to hit it firm, but also stroke it as well. So you can just sort of quit on it. I'm not saying he quit on it there in any way, but you know, it's like a little little shot. I think more into the season, that's sort of a little bit easier. Being the first tournament, the second frame, it's a little bit more dainty to play that.
Of course, we don't have crowds at the Championship League. We never have done, but they'll be here not next month, actually later this month now, 2 weeks' time for the British Open. Be great to have the crowds back, Jamie. You played at the Crucible last year. It must have been surreal to have got there and there's no audience. Yeah,
I'd done a couple of interviews for that, and my honest opinion was there was no comparison for me. It was just for me, I was playing at the Crucible, and that was incredible. But I didn't really know the difference with a crowd or without the crowd. So to me, it was just a complete honour to play there, if I'm honest with you. And you know, I said before, when you went in there, you have your own dressing room. You feel a part of something so special. It was a huge thing for me and my family, you know, when I went there. And yeah, it's a weird one. I was a little bit more disappointed this year. I was ahead of Mark Davis in the last qualifying round and managed to get beat, but it would be nice to go there to have that comparison because there was a crowd there more or less throughout the whole Crucible.
Yeah, it's wonderful. For the final it was full, and as I say, tickets selling really well for the British Open. Some still available though if you want to come to the Morningside later this month.
Yeah, it was magic to see Dave in the final. I watched nigh on all of it, and it's just so amazing to have the crowd, and especially being the first time they've had all that back. You know, allowed back in is even more special.
Meanwhile, Jimmy White is not this in, but he's finished nowhere.
It's amazing how it catches, isn't it? You know, look what he's landed there, with red over the pocket. It's just, he might have just wanted to make sure of the red and just try and play it safe, but you can just sort of get on top of this game if you're not on top of it, if that makes sense.
The thing with Jimmy White, though, you know, if he couldn't get over disappointments, he would have quit maybe 20 years ago. He just loves the game, and okay, he'd rather have got on one there or got on a colour and continued the break, but he'll just be patient and wait for another opportunity.
I think patience is something every snooker player sort of struggles with, just because it's such a key part. You know, you lose position, you've just got to take your medicine and just run away and just make sure that safety shot is is very good, because it can easily play in your mind if you haven't played a good shot, and then you play a really bad safety and you lose the frame. So, say it's an old cliche, but you've got to put it out of your mind.
Well, the chance that he was looking for has come immediately. He's got his hand on the table here as he lines up this red.
One.
Surely that blue goes past the pink. It does. Otherwise, that might have been start the card time.
That's good. It didn't look much, but it was a lovely little flick in there from Jimmy, because when you haven't had,
6.
as we said, with the situation of the match, it's a little testy one, that is.
7.
On his Crucible debut in, well, 40 years ago now, 1981, he played Steve Davis, who at that time was the reigning UK champion. Of course, went on to win his first world title that year. And then all the rest that happened to Jimmy at the Crucible. But to reach 6 finals itself is some achievement in that tournament.
Yeah, Dave, not a lot of people would appreciate, you know, just to have the desire and the belief to come back year after year, and to take that disappointment on the chin, and, you know, just have the resolve to keep coming back and keep coming back. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, and he's not just playing for fun, is he? He believes, you know, he can still do some damage. He practices hard. He practices probably harder than ever.
20.
Still wants to represent himself well, and still wants to do well, and that's admirable in itself. First things first, though, this frame, which at one stage Perry looked likely to win, missed that awkward red to the middle.
21.
Yeah, for me, a very big visit here for Jimmy. He's just run a little bit astray there. Ideally, you wanted to land on that red just right of the black spot. As we look at it, to make things easier, he's got to screw off the cushion now. I think he's just made sure of the pink there.
$27.
Can't blame him, I suppose. Just to have some sort of, don't know, Razor, you just want to try and, you know, he's puffing his cheeks there. He knows how big this frame is. Say the Championship League, you go 2-0 down, you can only draw. So he knows deep down this is a big frame for him.
Jimmy White, 27.
John Pellew, the referee. Very calm. Lovely voice he's got, hasn't he, John? From your neck of the woods, John.
Wonder what you're going to say then. Yeah, he's a homeboy. Leslie. That's where I'm from. God's country, as everyone calls it.
Well, that cue ball at one stage looks certain to go in. It seemed to slightly deviate at the end. Either way, it's much tougher from here than it would have been in the D.
Oh, these are horrible shots, Dave. Your hand is in a really obscure position on the pocket, off the little lip that hangs out. Yeah, it's a horrible shot, that. Because you're not in such an abnormal position of where you normally would be, and you can't really line it up, and you're 12, 13 foot away from looking to see, you know, where the red is. You just got to get down and trust your line, really.
1.
It made a difference, as you say, and now Perry suddenly has another opening.
Bit of a different shot, I know, but his hand was on the middle pocket there. We play that, you know, snooker players play that blue all the time, but you just got to get down and just keep your head still, hit it nice and firm, and just make sure you go through the ball positively.
Remember, if Perry wins this frame, he's guaranteed a point, and he needs just one more to take all three.
That was better than it looked there, getting that red by the black. I think he's going to stun this off the cushion. Make sure he gets high on that black.
13.
It's only sort of an inch there, but if you're an inch low, you can't get on that red. So if he is high, just try and make sure you are high in that shot, which he was there. Which is those little shots can make a huge difference, especially if you are playing under a bit of pressure. You've got to make sure you're high in them, even if you're a little bit too high, just so you got the shot.
Well, that red is frame ball. So Joe Perry, who could very easily have lost that first frame, the clearance he made was excellent, and it turned the match. I know it's only one frame, but definitely turned the match in his favour. He's looked very settled in this frame, and as I say, he's guaranteed a point. Peter Lyons on day one lost his first match,
28.
but still qualified. But that's very rare. If you lose your first match, you're really up against it, and you're depending on other scores to go your way, which is not a position you want to be in. So if Jimmy White loses this match, it's not looking good for him today. Yeah,
poor Jimmy there. He'll definitely be hurting in his seat, knowing it's always in the back of your mind. You know you should have been 1-0 up. You know the ball you missed. If you pot the ball, if you miss the ball and you win the frame, you don't think about it again. But if it's a shot that you know you should have potted, you know it was frame ball,
37.
and then you got to sat down. You sat at a clearance, and then you've lost the next frame. You sat there 2-0 down when it goes into the break now, and you know you're pondering really. You're pondering. How's this happened? But you know that's where the mental strength comes in, I think, and you just got to try and put it behind you, and you know just get on with things really.
Well, he can still, of course, get a point. That's what he's got to focus on, winning the next two frames. Perry, though, is looking good here, looking in control of himself, and has won the second frame as well. So Joe Perry, top seed in this Group 4 of the Bet Victor Championship League, already guaranteed a point. He leads Jimmy White by 2 frames to 0. Welcome back, 2-0 to Joe Perry. This is first to 3, of course, but it can be a draw, so that's what Jimmy White is hoping for. He's had chances in the first 2 frames. Perry's looking good overall. This is frame 3. Defending champion, of course, Karen Wilson. We saw him come through last week, so he'll be in Winners' Week next week.
Yeah, I know it's obvious here, but it's a big frame for Jimmy, just to settle himself. you can just get a, I don't know, just get in and make 30 or 20 or just something, just get in and get your arm going, and you know, it can be a bit of a downward spiral if you know, not just for this match, for the day, where you just sort of chasing, you know.
Wow, that was thin. But he knocked it in.
1.
He's wondering, here we go again, maybe.
I can see Joe, you're totally settled, totally into the match, felt the table, got his arm going a little bit under the TV lights. It's a big difference if you can do that. He's got a nice little chance here.
6.
That was an excellent shot.
Just looking at your group, Jamie, tomorrow, it's quite tasty, actually. You got Yan Bingtao, the Masters champion, Louis Heathcote, who lives quite close by here in Leicester, and Robbie McGuigan, who's just won the Northern Ireland Championship. So, looking forward to that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think I'm more nervous doing this. No, I got Yan. I've played Yan once. I've played Louis Heathcote, I think, only in the shootout, and I haven't heard much of Robbie, but I've heard he won that tournament, so no easy matches tomorrow.
John Pellew has just got to sort this pink out. We always mention this with him. Neil Folds loves this, but years ago at the Welsh Open, they had it was a craze for a while. The Harlem Shake, it was called, and they did it 20. In the arena. John was right in the thick of that. It's on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Yeah, I remember that.
21.
John had some stick for that. Yeah, they're really going for it when there was no holding back on that one.
Well, Rob Walker was involved, so that's all you need to know, really.
28. Thank you. 29.
Just landed slightly too low in this black, just to make it an absolute guarantee, but he's going to want to catch that red on the left hand side. Screw into the pink, hopefully open them all up. Yes. It looks like a bad miss in the black there. You're just a little bit, you know, you should have been a little bit straighter, and you can sort of see it coming. You sort of dread thinking, oh, I've landed just a little bit too low than I should have. And I'm not saying that's the reason he missed it, but it can play in your mind a little bit there.
Well, if Jimmy White does draw this match, then it surely starts here. It could be a potential turning point, not just missing the black, but leaving the red as well.
1.
Yeah, you can see he's infuriated. He's just trying to find something. He just wants a bit of release mentally. Just wants, yeah, just rush that again. He just wants a little release. It's so difficult out there. I can really sympathise with Jimmy, because you know he should have won the first frame. The second frame he had a chance, and this one here now you can just see he sort of feels like he deserves more, which he definitely does. And it's not a nice place out there sometimes. It's difficult. Not sure if he can see this red. I don't think so. So if he's going to go for it, it's awfully risky. Yeah, he's tried to. You can tell he tried to, because he put a lot of side on it, and he wanted to flick it around the angles. But again, chance for Joe. This could be the chance here to. I'm not saying to win in this visit, but definitely to just pile on the pressure on Jimmy again.
Yeah, and Perry, you know, he's a smart player. He's been around a long time. He will have observed that Jimmy White is feeling it a bit here, for the reasons you stated. But that's a let-off.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there that was a big shot. You know, Joe knew that if he just sink that first red, if you're going to miss one, it's normally the first 2 or 3, maybe 4 shots into a break, and then once you've got your arm in your eye and you can sort of deal with the pressure and everything. But yes, that wasn't easy.
1.
Don't think he's got enough angle to go into them. Yeah, I think he's going to land on that, try and land on that red.
Five.
He'll be absolutely determined, yeah, just to string a few together, try and get settled. Because you never know, 2-all is not the end of the world. That's absolutely fine, possibly in the long run. You're playing, I think Jimmy's the bottom seed, number 4, and Perry's number 1. You know, it's not a bad result to get 2-all against, the top boys. So he'd be putting absolutely everything into this visit.
A draw is always a popular result with the other players in the group because it's sort of neutralised both of these two if they take a point each. So they'll be cheering Jimmy on, I'm sure.
13.
This is the shot. He's very, very low in this pink. It's not an easy pot, let alone the cannon. You just got to commit to the pink, hope it goes in, and you just got to look up and see if you're on anything. Everything into the pot. Yeah, you want to explode now. You can see how frustrated he is. It's not easy. I can really sympathise. You're chasing and chasing for just a bit of relief. If he pots that pink and lands perfect, he knows, he's sort of back in it.
One.
Joe Perry then looking for the perfect start, 3-0 win. Remember, after points in the table, it goes on frame difference. So if you can win 3-0, it can make a big difference later this evening when the group is finally decided.
8.
That's a good point, that, Dave. 3-1 or 3-0 is, in the long term or the end of the day, could definitely make a big difference. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's how Stuart Bingham topped his group. 9. And I think he won 3-0 and Michael White was 3-1, I think.
Yeah, it did come back to the count back, and this is what you're looking for. It could have been so different, couldn't it, though? In his first frame, Jimmy White was favourite for a long time there. Who's to say he wouldn't have ploughed on himself? But the fact is, Perry made an excellent clearance.
It's gone a little bit wrong. I'm not sure if you can see that red by the black now. I think there might be still hope here for Jimmy. .29 points in front. He's going to need in, a couple more reds. So he's still got to get over that line. There's no full-on conclusion till the last ball goes in. Joe would have been sitting there when Jimmy was playing that red in the middle, basically conceded the fact he's 1-0 down. And if you can make a clearance like that, it just sort of sharpens you up straight away, and then you can do it, especially when you're making a clearance under pressure. Then when you're in the balls, say the following frame, you're just that touch calmer than you would have been. Yeah, it's not nice here. Jimmy looks a bit resigned now to me.
One.
Just the awkward brown. Doesn't look awkward, but it's just a little bit thinner than you're used to, and should be a 3-0 for Joe. Yeah, it wobbled. It's weird. It doesn't look much, but it's just a little bit thinner than you're used to.
5.
Position was automatic.
Yeah, it's not been flawless, but you wouldn't expect that first match of the season. But overall, I think he's looked good. He's one of the game's great professionals, I think. He's never really put a foot wrong over the years. He's always turned up, kept his head down, played the game, and still, you know, at the age of 46,
13.
at the top of the game, 20th in the world, takes some doing.
14.
Yeah, so I played Joe a couple of times, and not just his whole aura around the table where he looks in control. He always dresses immaculately, you know, sort of good off the table, and just doing his job.
Well, he's done the perfect job here because it's going to be 3-0, and he will have a few hours until his next match with Sean Maddox at 5 o'clock. He plays the last match as well against Jimmy Robertson this evening, so he's transferred the pressure onto those guys now because he's looking very good early on, and of course Cayman anyway favourite for the group as the top seed.
Yeah, if Jimmy could have nicked a draw here or won, it would have definitely swung the group. Now it looks very strong for Joe. But spare a thought for Jimmy. It's not a nice position. You know, he's got to nod his head here, and you can shake hands now. But yeah, not a nice position. But that's the way it goes sometimes.